In this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about our Google Drive and its importance with our Google site. So go ahead and type in drive.google.com, and then we're going to find that example website that we were using and open it up. The first thing you'll see is that you have your website there. Next to your website, you're going to see a little drop-down arrow. Click on that arrow, and then down here in where it says share, click on share. And as it pops up, there's a few things here. This right here is if you add someone to that, that means that they have access to edit your website. It will send them a link and it'll be like they are an owner just as you are the owner of your site. So make sure that you do not allow anyone to have access to that unless you want them to be able to go in and change things. You do, however, though, want to go down here to where it has get link. Right now, it's on change link to Carthage R9 school district, but it's restricted at the moment. I can change it or I can leave it restricted. If you leave it with restricted, that means that anything that you add into this folder is things that nobody is going to be able to see except for people that you give that particular link to. For purposes of a website, I always feel like it's important to click on this. And then this one has it to where it'll automatically go to where it's only people in Carthage School District with that email address or email domain. So you're going to click it and click anyone with the link. After you have anyone with the link, make sure that it's on viewer only. If you have it on commenter or editor, that means that they can make comments or they can edit your website, and we don't want that. So make sure it's on viewer and then click done. Now, the importance of this is because anything that I usually add to my Google site, I will put in this folder right here. So I'm going to minimize this a little bit and say I want to add an upcoming math lesson that we're going to do. So I just dragged and dropped that math lesson from my desktop. And so now here's a math page that I might want to add to my website. If I have this in here and I add that link to my website, but I have not changed those settings, my parents, my students, or both may not be able to see this image. It might show up as a broken image or just not available or restricted. Whereas because I say I changed those settings on there, now they will be able to view it. So that is one of the great reasons why I have stored all of my resources in my Google Drive. I have a folder called Teaching Resources, and I have the settings for it to where anyone can view these resources that has access to certain ones. I have it broken up by different subject areas. And then within each of my subject areas, I have it broken up by different units that we learn about in our school year. So that way, it not only is great for me if I'm looking for a resource that I need to help my students, but also if a coworker is needing something and I have something that can help them, I can share that with them, or I can say, oh, hey, go to this folder in my Google Drive and you'll be able to find that. Now, I did have to share it with some of my coworkers for them to be able to have access to that, as you can see. But once they have access to that, they have access to all of my resources. So I have a lot of videos up here that are videos of me teaching things to my parents that make it easier for them. I use a lot of Google Forms or for quizzes for my students that I can reuse year after year, or just any of those documents that I have made into something that's a digital format that might be good to add to my website or as a learning resource. So that's one of the benefits of having Google Drive linked to your Google site.